Dear Diary, today was a day I'll never forget. A roller coaster of danger and excitement that put my reporting skills and courage to the ultimate test. It all started when our editor Perry White revealed to his two best field reporters, Clark Kent and me, Lois Lane, that an anonymous figure had mailed another threatening note to the planet. The threatening letter from an individual who referred to himself in the third person as the mad scientist. Just how mad was the infamous mad scientist that had been plaguing our city? That was the question I sought to answer in my latest investigation for the Daily Planet. The letter warned of an Electrothanasia-Ray that would cause total destruction to those who had mocked him. I had an inkling that he hadn't been accepted by his peers because of his unethical practices as a scientist. Just a hunch. As soon as I heard about it, I knew I had to act fast. I approached Chief Perry White and asked him for the chance to crack the story on my own. He hesitated a bit, but eventually agreed to let me pursue it independently. So I embarked on a thrilling adventure to track down this deranged individual. Dressed in my aviator's suit and cap, I flew off in my own plane to find the madman. I have to say I really felt free when I was flying around in my plane. How did I learn to fly like an ace pilot, my dear diary? That is, for another day. Okay, back to the madman. He resided in a foreboding mountain lair atop a mountain.
The hour has come.
Just as I reached the door of the lair, the mad scientist and his pet raven forcefully dragged me inside. I knew he was a madman the moment I realized what he had done to the pet raven. He had genetically engineered the raven to have human-like qualities, and it also had some sort of super strength, as the raven could lock and unlock the iron door. The poor creature. I started asking him questions about his plans. He was fixated on teaching me a lesson for my pursuit of the truth. I found myself helplessly bound to a chair. He vowed to give Lois the greatest story of destruction the world has ever known. At midnight, the city was under attack. He forced me to watch in horror as he terrorized the city on a television screen as his ray destroyed the famous Tower Bridge.
How is that for a story, Miss Lane?
Radio broadcasts began reporting news of the bridge's destruction.
The mad scientist, whose warnings have held the city in a grip of terror, went on his rampage of destruction on the stroke of midnight. The deadly impact of his mysterious ray smashed the famous Tower Bridge.
Next, he used the ray to topple over the Daily Planet. The gravity of the situation hit me like a ton of bricks. I was trapped and in grave danger. Before I left the Daily Planet, I had called the police to report the threat from the madman. I could only hope that the police would come to save me from this crazed individual. I knew I had to keep my wits about me, even in this dire situation. As I anxiously waited for a miracle, little did I know that my savior was closer than I could have imagined. Unbeknownst to me at the time, the disturbing tale on the radio reached Superman. As he flew off in search of the mad scientist, the villain fired a second shot from his ray cannon. This one struck the lower levels of the Daily Planet. Superman caught the building as it began to topple and pushed it back into its proper upright position. The scientist took note of Superman's presence and fired another shot directly at him. Superman then pushes the death ray away from the base of the skyscraper and attempts to fight it back to the source. But the scientist increases the weapon's power, which also sends erratic pulses of energy Superman's way. Superman flew towards the ray, valiantly pounding the energy back with his fists. However, Superman remains determined to fight it, persevering against the beam and punching out each pulse as they come, gradually pounding the beam back to the scientist's lab.
I don't believe it! He is human!
Seeing that the beam has been overpowered, the horrified mad scientist increases power. But Superman uses that against him by twisting the weapon into a knot, preventing the beam energy from escaping, and the buildup of pressure causes the machine to overheat and explode. And then tearing his way into the villain's hideout. Superman flew inside and rescued me. The mad scientist attempted to escape, but Superman nabbed the scientist just before his lair exploded and took him to jail. I wrote the article concerning the mad scientist's evil plot to destroy the city. I had gotten the scoop on the story of the mad scientist with a thanks to Superman. He had vanished once again, and his identity was still a mystery that I, as an investigative reporter, will definitely crack one day. Clark, my rival, was very supportive that I had gotten the scoop. Superman, on the other hand, had vanished once again, and his identity was still a mystery that I, as an investigative reporter, will definitely crack one day. Until next time, my dear diary. Yours, Lois Lane.